Okay, so I'm going to start my Bible study with you guys in the first chapter of Job. And I'm going to start in Job because Job, I've heard, is actually the oldest book in the Bible. And so and I'm going to look that up real quick here on the internet. Just to verify so I'm not acting like I'm stupid. Google works wonders for things like this. It's pretty rad. Okay. Let's see. Job. History. Book. Praise the name of Yahweh. His mercy endureth forever. Okay. Come on, internet. Oh, you know what? We'll just go. My internet is like acting crazy today, so I guess God says no. Okay. So, starts out, there was a man in the land of Uz called Job, and this man was an upright and just man, one that feared God and eschewed evil. And he had 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses, and his family was very great, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. And his sons went and banqueted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And when the days of their banqueting were gone about, Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job thought, it may be that my sons have sinned, and blasphemed God in their hearts, and thus did Job every day. Now on a day when the children of God came and stood before the Lord, Satan came also among them. Then the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Satan answered the Lord, saying, From compassing the earth to and fro, and from walking in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou not considered my servant Job? How none is like him in the earth, an upright and just man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doeth Job fear God for naught? Hast thou not made a hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But stretch out now thine hand, and touch all that he hath, to see if he will not blaspheme thee to thy face. Then the Lord said unto Satan, Though all that he hath is in thine hand, only upon himself shalt thou not stretch out thine hand. So Satan departed from the presence of the Lord. And on a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, there came a messenger unto Job, and said, The oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding in their places. And the Sabeans, which is the Arabians, came violently and took them. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, but I only am escaped alone to tell thee. And while he was yet speaking, another came and said, The fire of God is fallen from the heaven, and hath burnt up the sheep and the servants, and devoured them. But I only am escaped alone to tell thee. And while he was yet speaking, another came and said, The Chaldeans set on thee on 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have taken them, and have slain the servants with the edge of the sword. But I only am escaped alone to tell thee. And while he was yet speaking, came another, and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from beyond the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, which fell upon the children, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Then Job arose, and he rent his garment, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground, and worshipped, and said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. Thither the Lord hath given, and the Lord hath taken it. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this, did not Job sin, or charge God foolishly? And I would only be grateful to be able to say that I would do such a thing. Okay. So this is usually what I do is I'll read a chapter in the morning, and then I write down my notes, as I go. And so I put, Job was perfect and upright, and he feared God, and he eschewed evil, and he was the greatest of all the men of the East. He burnt offerings for his sons and daughters, and he was covering them, just as a father and a mother should do with their children, but mostly the father, he has to lead the way. He does sacrifice and offerings before the Lord to kind of function kind of the same as Jesus, how Jesus intercedes between us and the Father daily. But Satan appeared before the Lord, and the Lord pointed out Job. He kind of picked him out of a crowd and said, "Hey Satan, what do you think about this guy? Why don't you try him?" And he asked Satan to ponder the man and basically, think about him. And I put here, this was a battle of the flesh versus the spirit, and it was to see if God could uphold the spirit of Job, even if his flesh and everything that he had on the earth was destroyed. Satan replied that Job simply loved all the blessings and not God, which Satan would, because Satan's of a carnal mind. Okay, God gave Satan permission to test him, and the devil destroyed his worldly possessions in one day. Job blessed the Lord, and Job sinned not. Okay, so here I have some notes here in my Bible that I read out of. The Bible that I read out of is here. It's the 1599 Geneva Bible. I use King James also, but sometimes I'll take a peek into this Bible because it's got some pretty rad notes in it. Okay, so it says that it was in the country of Idumea, and it was the land of Uz, and it says here that he was a Gentile and not a Jew, but he was pronounced upright and without hypocrisy. So God definitely did this. It talked about his riches and his children and everything that God had given to him, and and he was doing as he was commanded by God, that he would sanctify all these, do all these offerings to try to sanctify his children. Okay. And in verse 6, where it says, "Now on a day when the children of God came and stood before the Lord," there's a change there, where then it says Satan came also among them, because he's not one of the children of God. And it says here that they were referred to as children of God because they were willing to execute the will of God. Okay. And Satan is the adversary of God, but he can't do anything that God doesn't let him do. So therefore, I've thought for a long time that Satan, he thinks he's getting one over a lot of times on God, I think, but God is actually controlling him to do his will, and I don't know, that's just funny to me. Yeah, and in verse 11 it says, "But stretch out now thine hand, and touch all that he hath, to see if he will not blaspheme thee to thy face." And this is Satan saying this, okay, because Satan couldn't actually do it. He couldn't actually touch Job, but God could give Satan the permission to do it, and so he did, and Satan tried to basically say that Job was hiding his sin and all the blessings that God had given him, and so basically saying, if you take away all the blessings, then you'll see his sin and that he will curse you. And then everything was taken away, and it's so rad when he says, "Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. Thither the Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken. Blessed be the name of the Lord." In all this, Job did not sin nor charge God foolishly. So let us just endure mightily till the end, And I'll see you guys again for the second chapter. Okay?